Buenos Dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it? You already know, homie. Like a motherfucking smack addict, right? And as you can tell by that thumbnail, this is the Chicanos. Real life Abners, bro. You guys all know about the Vato, the guy that, I don't even know. 60 Days In, Abner, the Vato that played him. I don't know if it was acting. It was some pretty shitty acting. I don't know what this baboso thought he was doing, but at the same time, we're talking about real life Vatos in a menudo style in a direct fashion who played that Abner role to a T. Vatos that would go into prison, go into CYA, go into, I don't even know where the fuck these Vatos were going or where they thought they were going, right? But they'd get to certain spots, homes, and all of a sudden, and in that fashion, they played that Abner role, right? They thought they were the mero. They thought they were somebody that they weren't. They thought they were big baller, shot caller, rolling on blades in the Impala. Or I don't know what they thought, but it never amounted to shit, right? And in that fashion. So trip out. Let's talk about real life Abners. Okay, we all seen that show. We all know the Vato portrayed fucking whoever he portrayed. And the way he got down, man, was just a little too aggressive and just a little fraudulent, to me. I used to watch that show, and of course, when you watch the Tuvo, you watch TV, you watch television, the shows, they put a little bit too much tapatio on it, a little bit too much hot sauce. It's not exactly, it's meant for entertainment, Vato. Believe me, and for the most part, I was entertained, but when this Baboso came on in whatever season, I was really entertained, but I was entertained in a different way. I was aghast. I was like, what the fuck, right? There's no way. Okay, there's no way. But this Vato did that. He went in there. He said he was the enforcer. He was going to do this. He was going to do that. He was slapping up Vatos. It was what it was, man. I seen it. Y'all seen it. So trip out. Real life Abners. I remember Juvenile Hall. Juvenile Hall as a youngster, and I'm talking about before I caught my 187. Before that, I went to Juvenile Hall a couple previous times. One time for vandalism. The young gun was over there spray painting shit. And another time for breaking and entering. We didn't even really break and enter, man. We kind of just were chilling, fucking. We ditched school. We were at this highness pad. All of the homeboys, we were young kids. And one of the homeboys fucking broke a few things. And we played it off like we stole, like it was a breaking and entering so we can get away with it. Of course, they told on us. And that was that. Whatever the case may be, I didn't do much time, maybe a month or two in the oil or in the hole or the prison, Juvenile Hall. And then I got out. I was a young kid. Like I said, it was my first offense. It was no big deal. Got a little probation and then moved on. But there was a Vato in there. And I remember this guy wasn't a Norteño. He wasn't a Sureño. He wasn't even particularly a gang member. But this Vato was an Abner, homes. A real life Abner before that bofo was even born, homes. This Vato thought that he was so scared. Hey, I'm calling all the shots I'm the enforcer. This Vato was the enforcer. He thought he was the one because he was a little bit older than everyone. And quietly as it's kept, when I got in there, most Vatos were following him. Okay, now I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I went in there against the grain like a gangster, homes, and was like, fuck that. Nah. But I remember just laughing to myself even as a kid and saying, God, this Vato's just trying to do way too much, right? He was in there like, hey, we're going to program like this. We're going to sit over here. We're going to do that. And I was looking at him like, nah, I'm not. I'm not going to do none of that. Because the shit that he was saying, Holmes, was frivolous. And not only that, it was way out of character for this Juvenile Hall, bro. We were in here trying to chill. It was a co-ed Juvenile Hall. There behind us. We were young, Holmes, but we were more on just trying to kick it and have a good time and get on out of there. It wasn't like how it is now, bro, where motherfuckers are they're functioning, they're active, they're doing this, they're doing that. It was none of that, man. We're talking about early 90s, late 80s. Motherfuckers was just in there trying to do their little bit of time and shake, trying to get back out on the calle to fucking steal another car or whatever the case may be, whatever you were into. But I remember this guy, he was talking about, hey, make sure that you guys flush your toilet so in solidarity so we all know that how many homeboys are here. I said, flush your toilet so we know how many homies are here. First of all, bro, I don't even know you. Second of all, you're not my homie, right? Third of all, you're not even from Merced, Holmes. You're from fucking El Nido or some shit. Get out of here, bro, with that funny shit. Of course, I didn't tell him that because I was a little kid, but I thought that, I thought that shit was radiating from my mind. But I just remember he was the very first Abner that I ever ran into that tried to play that fucking, like he was trying to punk everyone type role. Like, hey, this is the way it's going to go. We're all Chicanos. We got to stick together. Now, hey, I'm all for that. Even nowadays, I'm all for Chicanos sticking together. I'm all for the human race sticking together. People, man, move progressively forward, man, to get everything we got coming in life. Do it the right way. I'm down. I'm downtown Julie Brown with that. I'm down for the clown. But now, at the same time, bro, I don't need another man telling me, Sasuke, we're going to flush our toilets. We're all going to bang on our wall. And at the same time, we're all going to fucking do jumping job while we're doing. Not Charlie, that's a little too much. You're going a little too hard in the paint. You're putting paint where there ain't. Sasuke, slow your roll. Calm down. You know what I mean? Slow down, Bobby V. You know what I mean? Let's not do it like that. But that was just what it was, man. Like I said, I did a couple months in there. We dealt with that individual as far as listening to what he had to say and not really hearing it. Bam. As I get out, I get a little bit older. I go to fucking California Youth Authority. And I remember that there was one homeboy, man. He was there, and he was an Abner. Oh, man, he seriously was an Abner. This guy was the enforcer that never enforced shit, right? The enforcer that never seemed to fight. Talking about, hey, look, here's the game plan, Holmes. Hey, when the Sureños do this, we do that. When hey, Sasuke, they're going to tell us that we could only program in the corner. And we're going to do that. But we're going to turn it on them because we're going to move gradually from that corner to the other one. Nah, I ain't programming in no corner. I ain't wearing no t-shirts. I ain't trying to do none of that. This time I was a knucklehead. I was hard-headed. My mindset was already, I'm trying to fucking stab as much people as I can to get back up north so I can get a visita and a little bit of cantina. I'm not trying to, there was none of that. It wasn't going to happen with me. Okay? And a lot of other homeboys felt the exact same way, if not even worse than that. They were like, fuck you and the horse that you came riding in on. You know what I mean? Hi-ho, silver. Get up out of here. And in that fashion. And I remember, man, he was just a homeboy that when somebody would come up to him and the Vatos would push up on him like, hey, I see that you're the one fucking pushing the movement. Whoop do what they'd get at him. He always seemed to be over there like this. I couldn't hear what he was saying, but he was like, he did a whole lot of head shaking, right? So I remember us finally fucking getting together and being like, this Vato ain't nada, right? And getting at him and him saying, look, I'm going to tell them whatever they want to hear for the benefit of the people. Nah, that's not what we do. You don't tell people what they want to hear, Holmes. You do what you got to do, whether they want to hear it or not. I knew enough to know that shit, right? But the Vato was like, I'm the enforcer. I swear to you. I'm telling you right now, that came out of his mouth, that he was the enforcer. I'm going to enforce some shit around here. I said, nah, you're gonna enforce us to fuck you off, right? That's what's going to happen. I'm going to enforce this piece to sharpen and enforce it in your neck if you don't get up out of here. I remember he didn't last too long. He ended up getting shipped out to, I believe was DeWitt Nelson at the time, which was the programming YA. And that was the last I heard of them. We never ran into any more Abner type characters, man. Everybody was it was a lot of canalismo that went on. And everybody was of the same stature, the same status, homes. And we all kicked it and did what we had to do as youngsters. Okay, so now I go to prison. Okay, let me tell you something about California prisons. We don't play that Abner shit. No, there ain't going to be none of that Abner shit. There's going to be the people who are in position to make them calls, and that's what it is, bro. And righteously, you give them that respect, Holmes, and you know, what you're not supposed to know, but you know. You feel me? And you go in there and you program, and you function side by side with your camaradas or your homeboys or whatever the case may be, whatever you call them, and you do your thing, Holmes. You keep your fucking mouth shut, and you just program as you're supposed to. And that's it. So when I seen this fucking show, Abners, right? And the way that this Vato was doing it in prison, now I can't speak for other states, Holmes. Maybe in Illinois, Iowa, or wherever the fuck he was at, man. Shout out to them states, man. I give you guys nothing but the utmost respect. But wherever they had this guy, right? This was made up, Holmes. This would not happen in prison. There's no way in hell a Vato's going to, I run the Chicano. No. And then slapping people up and then taking people's shit and doing this when the whole time the Vato's supposed to be a pastor on the streets. That just seemed a little bit too more frivolous for me, and it seemed just a little bit too far-fetched, if you catch my drift, right? Made up. That would never happen. Because I'm going to tell you what, let me give you a little reenactment what would have happened if I was on that fucking pod and Abner would have came. This is how it would have went down, and in this fashion, right? He would have came in like, hey, who's running the Chicanos? I'd have been like, those are some questions you don't ask. Hey, look, I'm the enforcer. And in that fashion. Oh, what do I do? Enforce that. What you don't do is you better enforce that lock in your cell and stay in that motherfucker, because if you come back in here, I'm gonna tell you, Holmes, we're gonna enforce a chokehold on your ass. It's gonna be nighty night for you, because anybody can get it. We don't get down like that and in that fashion. We're a raza. We're gonna stick together, Holmes. We're gonna program, keep it civil and cordial with all other group factions, and that's it. All that fucking you're the enforcer and that you're going and I'll put steel in you. Sabes que? Here's a big bundle. Put that in your fucking culo and do it pushing. That's it. That's how it would have went down. And I know I'm not the fucking hardest fish in the sea, and of course I'm not the gangster, Holmes, but I would have known enough to tell him, Bob, say, get the fuck, kick rocks, Holmes. You know what I mean? In fact, here, watch out. Sauce, kick boulders. And in fashion, get out of here, right? Wasn't never going to happen. But I guess there are some real life Abners. You know, and I feel for those individuals that had to go through that shit. For people that act like something they're not and try to push up on people and be like, it's so scary. I'm going to run the theater. I'm going to run the yada. I'm going to run this. You know, and it's just a cold situation when you find yourself that way. And let me fucking put it on some real life Abners, what happened in the state of California. See, what you would have in the early 90s, before everything was functioning, before everything was structured and Vatos already knew what time it was. And we're not going to speak on that. How they do it is how they do it, you know. There was more, the yards were more laxed. They were a lot more unstructured, okay? You used to go in as a norteño, Holmes, and it would just be all the homeboys kicking it. And we already knew what time it was, man. If the yard was going to get off, we knew who the enemigas were. They knew who we were. If it was going to get off, then it would get off. You know what I mean? Let the fucking, the bell be the reason. And then it would happen. But we weren't out there trying to make shit happen like that. You know, we were already fucking established on the yard. That was cool. But you would get to certain places, man, and there'd be fucking false flaggers. Vatos that were already no good. Vatos that had dropped out from a long time ago, Homes, that would be on these yards and they would build buffers and shields around themselves. And they'd be pushing and rocking that good rhyme on the homeboys, trying to push that hard note on the homies. And that was a cold game because you never knew who was what. And at that time, being a youngster and being incarcerated, man, motherfuckers didn't know who can I run to? They didn't know who to turn to. So there was a lot of homeboys that got put on the BNLs or got fucking casted to the side because these rogue bandito individuals, homes, would slide in on these yards. And they had a little bit of education, a little bit of knowledge, and they would play the Abner role and Abner these homeboys up out of there. You know, it was a cold game. You know, what happened in the Merced County Jail at one point in time. Let me tell you a little story. So there was a homeboy, you know, I'm not going to say his name, but he gets to the theater. He gets to the block, right? And I'm actually the cell security at this time in the block for the cell. And I remember he gets in there, he's kicking, he's the homeboy. I know him from the guys, I've known him his whole life. I know his familia, I know his tia, I know everybody, you know, good people. He's my boy. And so he gets in there, and of course his name happened to be on the BNLs. You know, there was a question mark by his name. He was on freeze, so of course he quickly gets put on freeze. And in the Merced County Jail, anybody would tell you, Holmes, when you're on freeze, it's not a good look. Holmes, bad things could happen in bad ways, right? Certain situations you just don't want to find yourself in. But the Vatos on freeze. So I remember we're constantly shooting wheelers. We're getting at each other. Holmes, the tier tender's coming down. It's my homeboy from my audio. He's like, what's up with the homie? And I'm like, I don't know. I can't call it like an alcoholic, man. But, you know, if we got to do what we got to do, then we'll do it. And we'll do it viciously. You know what I mean? We're going to make an example. But at the same time, Holmes, I'm feeling bad because this is my boy from the Calles, and I don't want to push up on him like that. You know? And come to find out, shit happens. He ends up getting cleared, Holmes. He ended up was good. And there was an Abner-ass character that was in the county jail a couple years before that flew under the radar, Holmes, got in there as a degenerate and was over there putting fucking people he didn't like on the BNLs. Now, he obviously didn't like my boy, man, because of the way my boy rolled out on the streets. My boy was a motherfucking vicious character. He was out there fucking making his next move his best move, and he was out there stepping on toes, I guess. Okay, not in a fashion that would get him deemed, Holmes, but just people on the streets didn't like the way he was rolling because he was out there taking some shit. And he got put on this BNLs. You know, this Vato added him. You know, he was doing Abner moves, bro. He was taking the initiative to fucking pull the wool over people's eyes and think he was somebody that he really wasn't. Of course, at that time, he used to be. So nobody knew. You know, they let him. He was in there, motherfucker, like, you roll with the Kid Folk or the Chicanos. You know what I mean? He was over there on some of that gangster shit. Some of that Abner shit. He was a real life Abner. You know, I heard from the homeboy, because once it all got figured out, I asked the homeboy, you know, what happened, bro? He was like, man, I thought that fool was up to some shady shit, man. I ran into that fool on the streets and that fool fucking wouldn't even look at me. Here we go, man. This motherfucker put me on BNLs and all that shit, trying to wreck my career. And I said, man, thank God you had some fucking righteous homeboys that give you the fucking, you know, ran your fucking due process home, so you're good. But he was like, yeah, that fool was in here, Holmes, trying to punk homeboys, you know, and just do things like that, trying to shit on homeboys' fucking helmets. Holmes trying to fucking defecate on homeboys' characters and trying to slander those that were really in position, those that really mean something. Trip, Lencho, right? Abner. You might as well call that Vato Abner. Because from everything that I've heard from every person that's ever did time with them, they've all told me the same thing. He had Abner qualities and Abner characteristics. Sasuke, for the Chicanos, right? That was fucking Lencho style, you know, constantly belittling the good, righteous homeboys, constantly making the cause look bad, constantly being a frivolous character, while at the same time maintaining like he's that one, or I'm the general, right? Like he's somebody. When really at the end of the day, he wasn't worthy for the people or of the people. You know, now I can't sit here and say, oh man, you know, the Norteños isn't. Nah, bro, I'm not in position to do that anymore. That's not my position, never was, cousin, and never will be, right? But I will say, but I always have love righteously in my heart for the people. And I hope that the people's progression moves on, man, and they get everything that they want. That's absolute. But when you got characters like fucking Lancho and just other vatos in the history that were on some Abner shit and that were being real life Abners to the people, I feel some type of way. Because like I said, I never really had to go through that. But that one time in juvenile hall when I was a young kid, and I'll voice my opinion. You know, I would have said something. I'd have been like, hell to the no. It's not going down like that. I'm not going to let my people get belittled. I'm not going to let my people get oppressed. And I'm definitely not going to let my people get shitted on. That's what would never happen, right? So when I seen the show, the 60 Days In, I automatically know that most of that was fabricated. You automatically know that. Sasuke, they're fucking giving interviews with cameras. How can you not figure it out, Baboso? Everyone's seen it. Right? Just a bunch of tweakers and bumfuck Egypt falling for the fucking game. The old okie doke, man. Anybody would do anything for a caja sopas, 2 jabones, and a fucking piruja promised on the outside. And that's just the way it is. In a menudo style of direct fashion, I'm here to tell you, they knew what was up. You know, so that's a made up show. So this character, to do that to the Chicanos and to make the gente look bad, I felt some type of way. Man, fuck the Vato Abner. And in that fashion, talking about, I don't know why I did it. When the fucking push came to shove, the first time he got exposed, that Vato rolled it up with, I think I gotta go because I've been discovered. And then he tried to blame it on the other Joto. It was because he said too much. He put me in a cross. Nah, you put yourself in a cross by the way you acted. You should have went in there on some smooth character shit. First of all, I don't even fucking encourage and promote what you were doing in the first place in there to tell on everyone. So I just fucking just stay out. What the? Preach, practice what you preach. I'm just go out there, say a couple prayers, give a couple pats on the back, and give a couple people some canned foods that are hungry. And then you're winning. But to go in there and sign up for this and then go in there and to be slapping young kids, tucking all that shit, I just didn't appreciate it. I didn't like it. You know, and I thought it was a bad look for the gente in general, for the raza, that they portrayed us that way with a character as frivolous as that. You know, but there are real life Abners, and I'm sure from every group faction. You know, I'm not going to sit here and talk about group factions and say that, you know, I know an Abner from here and there, because I don't, bro, personally. But I'm sure everyone has experienced some type of oppression or frivolous fucking take on an Abner from people. You know, it's just part of the game. It's part of the game. Now, of course, I think they went far-fetched. They went a little bit over the limit, a little too much fucking Tabasco with them, but whatever. You know, watching it now, I sit back and I laugh and I say, God damn, they're about to so fake. Faker than fucking a salt shaker. You know, he is what he is. But at the end of the day, I guess that's what it'd be like. Just as far as my personal experiences with Abners, I haven't had too many of them. But yes, there are characters like that. You know, imagine going into a prison setting or going to somewhere where you know the fakest vato on the tira home is the one that thinks he has the llaves. That would be a cold game, homes, because you're at the dictation of this man's push, what this man is saying. Sasuke, you just got to get in line, man. There comes a time and day, man, when maybe you are that one. But until then, man, you just got to fall in tune and rock the good rhyme with whatever he's got going on, you know? And it's like, fuck, man, I ain't trying to fucking do all that. I'm about to talk about, let's get some funny bunny shit, man. So let's get talking about it's okay to get your dick. Nah, it ain't okay over here. I learned a long time ago that fucking we don't indulge in those type of practices. You know what I mean? He's like, for the Chicano. No, not for the Chicanos, Baboso. For the fucking Peruano beans over there. Fucking go kick it over there. What the? You're not from here. What? They're from Peru. Get out of here. And in that fashion. Anyways, at the end of the day, man, I just hope that no one has to go to meet any of these type of frivolous characters, because it's not a cool thing. We're all raza, man. It's all about being respectful to everyone, being yourself, and being true and real to yourself. Don't fall for any of these tactics and any of these fake shows, homes. That shit is boo shiznit, right? It's not real. It's fake. It's propaganda. It's there to slander the character of real life prisoners and real life convicts that are really doing time, homes. You know, at the end of the day, vatos are in there, man. They're an oppressed people already by the administration, man. Let them go in there and do theirs, homes, and get on out to their familias. That's what it's all about. And for the ones that are doing vida on all day, man, don't shit on their parade or their backyard, homes. That's their home. They got to live in it, you know, and they're doing in that. Anyways, at the end of the day, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you get everything that you want coming to you. Don't fall victim to Abners. I was scared. Go over there with the kinfolk. Nah, fuck you. You go with the kinfolk, Bob. Also, see what they do to you. Sass. And in that fashion, the gun. Like and subscribe. Bang, bang.